Hello everyone, welcome back. Just want to say real quick, if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers, so if you can, please subscribe. And make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Alright, so today I was at work and I was listening to Impulsive, as you do. And they brought up a topic I didn't even know about. They were talking about Joe Rogan and what he said about video games or something. Now, I've gone back and actually watched that video, and what the Impulsive squad was saying about Joe Rogan, I didn't really agree with what they were saying. So naturally I thought, why not make a video about this? Now, luckily this video isn't coming from like some Joe Rogan mega fan. I'm not really too fussed about him. And also, I've just got to say, I'm not some mental gamer like Ninja. What Joe Rogan said doesn't really apply to me at all, as pretty much the only time I play a video game is if I'm getting gameplay for my YouTube videos. But this video isn't coming from a point of bias at all. So as always, we're going to hit this with a realist attitude, and let's see what Joe tried to say and break it down a little bit. So let's go.
Right? When it's like, oh no.
This guy's fucking high.
Yeah. Sometimes kids have to see that. Right. And if their parents are living a bullshit life and their neighbors are living a bullshit life and most of their family lives a bullshit life, they just fucking lay around, and then they seek refuge in drugs or video games or something that stimulates them.
Okay, first thing I just want to say is, would you rather a kid stimulate themselves with drugs or video games? Putting them two in a sentence like that is almost like saying they're equally the same problem, which they're not. Already he's going to start painting video games as a bad picture. But anyway, let's see what he has to say.
And video games are a real problem. They're a real problem. You know why? Because they're fucking fun.
Addictive.
And I have a real problem with them. And you do them, and they're real exciting, but you don't get anywhere.
Right, when someone refers to playing video games as doing them, 100% they're not fully educated on what they're saying. And this brings me back to my first point. To say do them is like how you describe drugs. You do a drug. You don't do a video game. I mean, come on, Joe, it's common sense.
Right. It's like you could do like martial arts, right?
Oh, God. It wouldn't be a Joe Rogan podcast unless he brings martial arts into it. Because in Joe Rogan's mind, martial arts will solve any issue anyone has.
You could learn jiu-jitsu. You get obsessed by jiu-jitsu, and then 3 years later, you're like an elite jiu-jitsu athlete. You're entering in competitions. You're a purple belt.
You're moving up.
Yeah, you're doing well.
Okay, yeah, I kind of understand what you're trying to say here, Joe. But the reality is, bro, there's probably a lot more gaming competitions than there are jiu-jitsu. And not to mention, there's probably a lot more money in the gaming competitions. But obviously, I'm not being naive. I'm not attacking Joe. I do understand that if you were to do jiu-jitsu competitions, that's way more impressive than winning a video game competition. So I'm kind of interested to see where he goes with this.
You're thinking I might be able to open my own school one day.
You got confidence.
Yeah, if I have 100 students and those 100 students are paying me X amount of dollars per month, I can make a living. Holy shit, I can have this would be amazing. And then you see your jiu-jitsu school and your jiu-jitsu instructor has all these students and drives a Mercedes and he's got a nice family and that's the future. This way you're doing something exciting and fun and you don't. Or you could just be playing fucking video games.
All right, well, yeah. Joe, you're acting like it's so easy to make a business. Make a business, I'm pretty sure you have to have a lot of money. But that's not even the problem. Realistically, how many people are able to build a business? It's a lot easier for someone to just play on a video game, upload that to Twitch or YouTube or wherever, than it is to start a business. I mean, realistically, how many businesses fail every single year? I mean, I get what Joe's trying to say, but it's a bit unrealistic. It's not that easy.
3 years later, you could be that same kid just playing video games, waiting for the next whatever the fuck game is, next Xbox game to come out, and you're gonna waste your time.
Okay, so you're gonna waste your time for waiting for the next video game to come out. Okay, so in that case, tell me, what is the difference between waiting for the next big film to come out? What's the difference between waiting for the next UFC fight or boxing fight to come out to watch? Like, he really seems to miss the point here. The main reason why a lot of people play video games is just because they want to chill out. Like, what is the problem with that? There's no difference between playing a video game than there is watching a film. Essentially, what you're saying is, unless you're working, unless you're trying to create money, you're wasting your time. Sorry, I forgot, Joe Rogan. People actually want to have a rest.
You have children. I have children, and it's a big battle in the house. Yes. And my kids, I don't know if you're going through this, but my kids are now saying, well, Dad, this guy made all this money with this video game. That's
real too. That's real too now.
So like, that's 1 in a billion, kid.
That's 1 in a billion, kid. It's a bit of a weird way how to talk about your child. It's a bit disrespectful, isn't it? But anyway, like I said before, why do you have to do something if it's making money? It's the most ridiculous argument. There's no guarantee that if you play a sport, you're going to earn money. Like, at the end of the day, a kid could look at their favourite sportsman, their favourite football player, spend their entire childhood working and grinding away so that they could be successful in that sport, but then the chances of them actually making it anywhere in that career is basically zero. That child could then argue saying that they've wasted their entire childhood, but as far as I'm concerned, the whole point of life is to have a good time. And if that's what someone gets from playing video games, just leave them to it, mate, and don't pull weird smirks when you're basically disrespecting your own children.
I don't know if it's 1 in a billion, but you know, look, I heard the same argument about comedy. My own parents were like, do you know how few people make it as a comedian? I was like, okay, does anybody make it? Somebody makes it, right? They figure out how to do it. They make a living. I'm going to do that. Yeah. Just stop. Like, I know what I'm doing. I was real lucky that my parents were not around very much, so I didn't get much advice. So I figured it out myself. So there was no one telling me I couldn't do it.
Got it.
So
Greenfields.
I was like, I'm gonna find my way through this, and since no one's telling me it's impossible, no one's telling me I can't. Occasionally, I would hear someone say, "What are the odds?" I'm like, "Listen, to this fucking loser." That's my thought. Was always like, that guy's a loser. Like, if you think like that, you're a loser.
Okay, so what you're saying is, if someone says you can't achieve your dreams, they are a loser. Wait, I'm sorry. I swear to God that's what you were saying about everyone that was playing video games before. Your exact words were, playing video games are a waste of time. So essentially, what you're saying is, everybody that's playing video games, you're wasting your time. So does that mean that you're calling yourself a loser? I mean, again, I'm not hating on Joe Rogan or anything. In a 2-hour podcast, you're not going to be speaking absolutely perfect the entire time. But, you know, I'm just showing you this is just a bit of a hypocritical statement, really, isn't it?
But there are kids that make a lot of fucking money playing video games. But the thing is, like, you have to be adaptable. You have to be able to play multiple video games, because the one video game that you get really good at, what are the odds that's going to be around 5 years from now?
See, this is where the lack of knowledge comes in. When you play a video game, you don't just get good at one game. Majority of the time, it's a skill that's universal. It can be transferred to another game. Same as your martial arts. You learn one form of martial arts, it can then be used and help into another martial arts. Like if you wanted to do MMA and you had a wrestling background, the wrestling would help that. Same with the video game. If you're good at Call of Duty, no reason why those skills can't be transferred onto another game like Fortnite. Both games have the exact same objective, to beat your opponent. However, there's just different ways you get there. Same with martial arts. The whole point of martial arts is to beat your opponent. There are different ways to get to that goal. I guarantee if you know one way how to beat your opponent, you could then use that skill to learn how to use a different way to beat them.
Right.
You know, like, what's the big one now? Like Fortnite? Is that? Do they make money off of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's Call of Duty. They make money off that. What's the big money? StarCraft used to be the big one, right?
That, League of Legends, Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike is it's still the Half-Life mod.
Yeah, variations of it have come out, but it's still basically the same exact game.
They don't make money off Quake though, right? Not really.
Nah, really.
No.
A couple, one or two guys do, I think.
Yeah, see, it's you got to pick the right game. You know, you could be obsessed with the wrong game.
What are you going to do? You're going to spend 5-10 hours a day in that house?
You have to.
Right.
You would have to.
Okay, and well, that's it. I just got to say, by no means am I that bothered about this. Apparently this has really sparked fury, and to be honest with you, I don't understand why. I mean, not to be disrespectful to Joe Rogan, but he is in his 50s, so it's completely reasonable as to why he doesn't support video games. Really, what he's trying to say is, those people that just spend their entire life playing video games and that's it, and they have no other aspirations, you should really sort that out. Because eventually you will hit a point where you think, yeah, actually, you know what, I am kind of wasting my time here. And you know, that's fine. But the big issue here is attacking video games as a whole. You can't do that. Like I said earlier, that's like attacking people that love watching films. You know, it's one opinion. You know, everyone doesn't have to take it so seriously. If you want to play video games, crack on. Don't let Joe Rogan stop you from doing that. And whilst you're at it, why not hit the subscribe button? If you can, let anybody know that might like this channel. I really need to hit 1,000 subscribers. And if you could also give this video a thumbs up, I would really appreciate that. But anyway, I'll catch you on the next one.